I'm Tom, and I'm very happy you are here with me today because we will explore a powerful book that can help you learn English in a calm, clear, and simple way. The book is called Effortless, written by Greg McKeown. The word effortless means something that feels light, easy, and natural. It does not mean lazy, and it does not mean doing nothing. It means a way of working where you do not fight with yourself, where your mind and body feel soft and open, and where progress comes with less stress. Before we begin, I want to tell you something important about how this episode works. At the beginning, the language will be simpler and more familiar, so your brain can warm up. Then, as we move from chapter to chapter, the language will slowly become a little more advanced. This gentle increase helps you grow naturally. Your understanding expands without pressure. This is how real language learning happens. Easy at first, and then gradually richer, deeper, and more expressive. In this episode, I want to take you chapter by chapter through the book. I will connect every idea to your English learning journey. My goal is simple. I want you to see that learning English does not always have to feel hard. It can feel peaceful. It can feel gentle. It can even feel enjoyable and relaxing. Many learners believe that stress is a sign of progress, but actually, stress often blocks progress. Stress makes the brain tired. Stress closes the memory. Stress pushes you away from English instead of bringing you closer to it. So, in this episode, I will show you the opposite path. I will show you how to make English a part of your life in a natural and effortless way. As always, I will speak slowly and clearly. If I use a difficult word, I will define it immediately. I will explain it in the same sentence so you understand everything. You do not need to take notes. You do not need to study hard. Just sit with me, listen, breathe, and enjoy the story of this book. As you listen, you are already learning. This is the magic of comprehensible input. Comprehensible input means English that is clear enough to understand, but still gives you new language, new ideas, and new expressions. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Effortless State. The first chapter begins with a simple but important message. To do anything well, you first meet the right state of mind. The word state here means the condition of your thoughts and emotions. The author calls this the effortless state. A state, a condition where your mind is calm, clear, and ready to learn. Imagine you want to study English, but you are tired, you are worried, you are frustrated. The word frustrated means feeling upset because something is difficult. In this situation, your brain is not open. It is tight. It is blocked. You may sit with an English book for 30 minutes, but very little enters your memory. You may listen to a podcast, but the words pass by like water with no shape and no meaning. Now imagine a different situation, a different state. You sit comfortably. You take one slow breath. You relax your shoulders and prepare your mind. Maybe you tell yourself, I will learn something small today. Suddenly, the same English becomes easier. Your brain wakes up. You understand more. You remember more. This is the effortless state, okay? The author explains that many people never reach this state because they start their work already stressed. They carry too much mental weight. The word weight here means emotional heaviness, like worry or pressure. When your mind carries too much weight, everything becomes harder, even simple activities. As language learners, we often do this without noticing, without paying attention. Maybe you tell yourself, my English must improve fast, or I must understand everything, or I will fail if I don't study a lot. These thoughts feel heavy. They create pressure, and pressure makes learning harder, not easier. To enter the effortless state, you do not need a special skill. You simply need to slow down for a moment, okay? Think of it as cleaning a window. If a window is dirty, you cannot see through it, no matter how strong the sunlight is. Your mind is the same. When your mind is full of noise, English cannot enter. When your mind becomes quiet, English slides in smoothly, easily, okay? Now, the author suggests that clarity is the first part of the effortless state. What does clarity mean? Clarity means clear understanding of what you want. When you begin your English study, it helps to know exactly what you want to do. For example, you can tell yourself, I want to understand this 5-minute story, or I want to notice 10 sentences, or I want to enjoy this listening moment. When your purpose is clear, your brain becomes focused. Focus is another important word in this book. Focus means holding your attention on one thing. Many learners try to learn too many things at the same time. Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, writing, listening, reading. When you try to do everything, your brain becomes confused. Confusion is the opposite of the effortless state. But when you choose one small goal, everything becomes lighter. The author also talks about the idea of being present. The word present means being here, in this moment, not worrying about the future or the past. When you study English, being present means listening with your whole attention. It means not thinking about your mistakes, not thinking about your future exams. It means enjoying each sentence, each sound, and each new idea. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are listening to an English podcast. If you think, I must understand everything, your brain becomes tense. The word tense means tight, like a muscle that is too hard. But if you say, I will understand what I can, and I will enjoy the rest, your mind becomes soft. Softness helps you learn. Softness opens the door to understanding. The author also reminds us that a calm mind is not a luxury, it is a tool. It is something you need to do good work. For English learners, a calm mind is not a bonus. It is the foundation. The word foundation means the base of something, the base of a building, the part that holds everything up. If your foundation is strong, your learning becomes strong. If the foundation is weak, everything feels difficult. The effortless state is also connected to energy. When your mind is full of stress, your energy becomes low. When your mind is quiet, your energy becomes high. Energy is important in language learning because understanding new words and new structures requires attention. It needs attention, okay? If your energy is low, the language cannot stay in your mind. Think of your brain as a garden. When the soil is soft and wet, plants grow easily. When the soil is hard and dry, plants struggle. The effortless state softens the soil of your mind. It makes it ready to grow new English. Now, before we finish this chapter, I want to show you how you can create your own effortless state before every study session. You do not need a long ritual. You do not need special music or special tools. You simply need awareness. The word awareness means noticing what is happening inside you. When you sit down to learn English, take one moment and ask yourself, how do I feel? If you feel calm, wonderful. If you feel tired, you can rest for a minute. If you feel stressed, you can take one slow breath. If your mind feels heavy, you can tell yourself, I will learn something small. This gentle preparation makes a big difference. It does not take time. It does not take effort, but it changes how your brain receives English. And this is the heart of the effortless state. Chapter 2, Effortless Action. In this chapter, we move on to the next idea, which is called effortless action. The word action means doing something, taking steps, or moving forward. Effortless action means doing things in a simple, smart, and natural way, instead of doing them in a heavy or complicated way. Many people believe that work only has value if it feels painful. In the book, the author talks about how people often make activities harder than they need to be. This happens because of what he calls self-imposed difficulty. The word self-imposed means something we create for ourselves, even when we do not need to. It is like carrying a heavy bag, even when the bag is empty. We think the weight is necessary, but it is not. The same thing happens in language learning. Many learners make English study more difficult than it needs to be. They force themselves to study long hours, even when they are tired. They choose difficult books because they think easy books are not real English. They feel guilty when they do not understand everything. Guilty here means feeling bad because you think you did something wrong. But none of this guilt helps you learn. It only makes your relationship with English painful. Effortless action teaches us to remove the unnecessary difficulty. The word unnecessary means something we do not need. When you remove the unnecessary difficulty, the action becomes clean, simple, and direct. This does not mean you stop working. It means you work in a smarter, softer way. For language learning, effortless action means choosing the simplest path that still gives you progress. For example, instead of forcing yourself to read a long, difficult article, you can choose a short story that is easy and enjoyable. Instead of trying to memorize 20 new words a day, you can focus on 5 words that you will actually use today. Instead of sitting for 1 hour with a textbook feeling tired, you can listen to 5 minutes of slow English with full attention. When you do this, your learning becomes effective and effortless. The word effective means it works well and gives good results. The author also talks about something called starting small. This means beginning with a tiny action so your brain does not feel resistance. The word resistance means the feeling of not wanting to do something, okay? I say that again. It means the feeling of not wanting to do something. Resistance. When a task feels too big, the brain pushes it away. But when a task feels small, the brain says, yeah, I can do that. For example, imagine you want to improve your English listening. Instead of telling yourself, I must listen for 1 hour, you say, I will listen for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is easy. 2 minutes is light, and something interesting happens. After the 2 minutes, you usually want to continue. You will naturally listen for 3 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. You created momentum. The word momentum means the energy that makes you keep going once you start. This is effortless action. It is not about being lazy. It is about using your energy wisely. It is about doing things in a way that your mind accepts instead of rejecting. When studying English feels light, you will do it more often. And when you do it more often, you learn faster without pressure. The author gives an example in the book about people who use complicated systems to track small activities. Sometimes we spend more time organizing than actually doing the action. This is what he calls overcomplication. The word overcomplication means making something more complex than necessary. In language learning, this looks like spending a long time looking for the perfect method, the perfect teacher, the perfect book, or the perfect app. When you spend too much time searching for perfection, you do not move forward. Your feet freeze. Effortless action invites you to move simply. You choose one thing, you do it, and you feel good. Then you continue. Learning becomes a chain of small actions, each one easy to start. Over time, These small actions grow into big progress. This is why I always tell my learners, keep it simple, keep it light, and keep it daily. The author also explains that clarity helps action. If you know exactly what you want to do, action becomes smooth. If your activity is vague, your brain hesitates. The word vague means not clear and not specific. For example, if you say, I want to study English, your brain does not know what to do first. But if you say, I want to listen to 5 minutes of English Unleashed, your brain knows exactly what to do. Action becomes easy. Another powerful idea in this chapter is removing the first obstacle. The word obstacle means something that blocks your path. In learning English, the first obstacle could be opening your book, or finding your headphones, or choosing what to listen, or deciding when to start. Effortless action teaches you to remove that first obstacle by preparing the night before. For example, you can place your headphones on your pillow, or open the podcast app before you sleep, or choose a 5-minute episode in advance. Then, when you wake up, there is no obstacle. You simply begin. This technique is small, but it is life-changing. When the first step is easy, the next steps follow naturally. And this is the meaning of effortless action. A small beginning that opens the door to bigger progress. Now, before we end this chapter, I want to give you one more image. Imagine a river. The river does not push hard. It flows gently, slowly, but it never stops. Over time, the gentle water becomes strong enough to shape stone. Your English learning is the same. If you move every day, even in small and easy ways, you create deep change. You grow naturally. You improve without pressure. This is effortless action. Chapter 3. Effortless results. In this chapter, the author talks about something very important for long-term progress. He calls this idea effortless results. The word results means the outcome or the final effect of your actions. When you work on something, the result is what you get at the end. Effortless results means getting the benefits of your work again and again without needing to push constantly. It is like planting a tree instead of picking fruit by hand every day. At first, planting the tree takes a little time. But once the tree grows, fruit comes naturally, every season without extra effort. This is a powerful image for language learning. Many learners try to study in short, intense bursts. The word intense means very strong, heavy, or extreme. They study a lot for a few days, then they feel tired, and then they stop. This creates results that are not stable. The word stable means strong and steady, not changing, not disappearing quickly, not going away. When your learning is not stable, you forget easily. Effortless results show a different way. Instead of working very hard for a short time, we create habits and systems that support us every day. The word habit means something you do regularly without thinking too much about it. It feels automatic. For language learning, this means creating small routines that continue without pressure. For example, you can listen to English every morning while you make tea. You can read one short paragraph before sleeping. You can say one sentence to yourself while getting dressed. These small habits build long-term results. Because you repeat them many times, the language becomes part of your brain in a natural way. The author explains that real success comes from actions that continue, not actions that explode and disappear. Many people want quick progress, but quick progress is often temporary. The word temporary means it does not last. Effortless results focus on steady progress, which is slow but strong. They do not disappear. Imagine a small seed growing into a strong tree. It takes time, but the result is powerful and long-lasting. Another important idea in this chapter is building things that continue working even when you stop watching them. In work, this might mean creating a system that runs automatically. In English learning, this might mean building habits so strong that your brain continues learning even when you are not actively studying. For example, after listening to a story many times, your brain begins to recognize patterns automatically. The word pattern means a repeated structure or form. English grammar is full of patterns. You do not need to study them directly. Your brain learns them naturally when you listen often. Effortless results also teach us to use simple tools that make learning easier. For example, if you listen to the same easy story every day for 1 week, your understanding grows quickly. At first, the new words feel strange. Then, on the second day, they feel familiar. The word familiar means something you have seen or heard before. On the third day, you begin to predict the next sentence. The word predict means to guess what will happen next. On the fourth day, you understand almost everything without thinking. And by the end of the week, the story becomes part of your language. This simple repetition creates deep results. And repetition is one of the main ideas in this chapter. The author explains that repeating something many times makes it easier. Think about tying your shoes. The first time you learned it, it was difficult. But because you repeated it every day, it became effortless. You do not even think about it now. The same thing can happen with English. If you repeat simple sentences every day, they become automatic. The word automatic means happening by itself, without effort. Repetition also builds confidence. The word confidence means feeling sure of yourself. When you listen to the same story several times, you begin to trust your ability to understand English. You think, I know this. I can do this. This positive feeling pushes you to continue. One of the most important lessons in this chapter is the idea of sustainability. That's a hard word, isn't it? The word sustainability means something you can continue for a long time without burning out. Many learners start with huge motivation and then lose energy. But sustainable learning is gentle and realistic. It fits into your daily life. It does not exhaust you. The word exhaust means to make someone extremely tired. Effortless results teach us to avoid exhaustion. They teach us to build a learning routine that supports your whole life. The author also talks about trust in the process. The word process means the steps you take to reach a goal. In language learning, the process is long, but if you trust it, you do not worry when progress feels slow. Sometimes you do not notice your improvement because it is happening quietly inside your mind. But every sentence you hear, every word you understand, every moment of listening builds the foundation, okay? And suddenly, one day, you realize you can understand a whole podcast, or you can read a page without stopping, or you can speak with someone more confidently. These moments feel like magic, but they come from slow, steady, effortless results.